forward to this presentation myself and appreciate so much Mary Washington Healthcare bringing this about for us. You know that the healthcare, Mary Washington Healthcare consists of both the hospital, the Mary Washington Hospital, as well as Stafford Hospital. And they have both the inpatient rehabilitation as well as outpatient rehabilitation, and they do the home health, and that's, our speaker is from the home health area of that particular branch. So we're pleased to have such an abundance of resources in our area that can serve our citizens, and particularly since our mission at Lowlink is to help people stay safe and living independently in their homes. That safety factor is something that it's going to come in handy, as I'm sure, as we hear this afternoon, because we're not only talking about the prevention of falls and injuries, but we're also talking about the treatment and then the rehabilitation afterwards. But our speaker will be talking some more in detail about that, and thank you again, Mary Washington Healthcare, for coming to us today. I want to introduce Derek York. Derek is a physical therapy assistant, and he received his training through a community college in Maine, Kennebec Valley Community College, for physical therapy assistants. So he has quite an educational background himself in order to work with a physical therapist in this particular field. So he's had a career in the Navy. We appreciate that. He's had several different positions, but when he saw someone helping someone be rehabilitated after a fall, he realized this is the field he wanted to go into. And we find that in the community college setting, that people come back for a second career. And Derek is a good example of that. He also has a wife that just happens to be working at Mary Washington Hospital in their critical care unit, his Virginia. So we appreciate your being here. He's a certified he's a certified personal trainer in addition to being a senior fitness specialist. So he has a couple other credentials and certifications. Derek, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks so much. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to prevent falls today. And we're going to have, normally there'd be a presentation, but then there'd be question and answer at the end. But if at any time you have a question, just go ahead and raise your hand or just shoot it out, okay? So I have some questions to start. How many people, show of hands, in this room have had a fall? Keep them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 15. Wow. Okay. So that's about 75% of the room. We'll write that up. Okay. All right. So.
Even when you were 3. Okay, everybody.
Okay. What in the back? What was your reason for falling?
I had had surgery a few weeks before, and at Mary Washington on a hip replacement. And I lost my footing, and I wasn't sure.
Was it on a floor, carpet?
Steps.
Steps. Okay, so we have steps. Okay, who else?
Ice.
Ice. Oh, the dreaded ice. Anyone else?
Vertigo.
Vertigo. Mm-hmm.
Coming downstairs.
Coming down the stairs. Okay, so we have 2 there, and you tripped, right?
On my own feet on a flat floor.
Tripped
Did you sue?
on
Myself,
a
yes.
flat spot. Okay.
I did the same thing.
You did the same thing. Tripped on a flat spot. Okay.
Vertigo.
Rugs. Vertigo. So vertigo, we have 2. We have the dreaded rugs. We're going to talk about that. Anyone else?
I left the dishwasher door open and walked into it.
I've done that too.
Was it on rinse?
Bitten by the dishwasher. Okay. Opened up its mouth and gotcha. Anybody else?
Stubbed her toe with the rubber toe like it.
Pain went right up to your eyeballs.
Right in the middle of the belt.
Yeah, stubbed the toe, yeah. I had a patient that had an ingrown toenail and he had just had it fixed. He walked in the bathroom and clunk. Ooh. Okay. That'll do it. All preventable. Okay, vertigo is a whole different subject, which I can talk about it a little bit later, but that's not really the focus of this. But there's a lot of ways to fix that too, or help that, okay? So I'm going to give you some statistics. That'll surprise you, but it's going to go along right with this number up here. And then we're going to talk about the handouts I gave you. Going to go right through those. And then we're going to talk about some ways to prevent falls by going through your house, and we call it fall-proofing your house. And then we're going to talk about some exercises that you can do to strengthen your balance muscles, which of course I'm in the physical therapy department, so we believe that most of it is because of weakness. You have 3 basic balance points in your body. One is your ankles, the other one is your knees, and the other one is your hips. And if you can strengthen those 3 areas, a lot of the stuff that happened to you, sometimes you can't prevent, then you'll be able to prevent a fall, right? So we'll go over that, and then we're going to talk about this crazy little tool right here, which I think is one of the best tools on the planet. It's called a peddler, okay? And then we're going to talk about the dreaded assistive devices. Okay? Okay, some people don't want to use. So I'm going to come, and again, if you have any questions, let me know, but I want to tell you a story. Again, I'm married. My wife is a nurse in the intensive care unit, so I get no sympathy. But my mother and her mother have both been hospitalized because of falls that were preventable, mostly because of stubbornness. So I'll talk about my mother first, and then I'll talk about her mother, and then we'll get into the presentation. But a lot of it is the same thing that you all have gone through for falls. So my mother has had several falls, but the most recent that really affected her life is that there was something on top of the refrigerator, and she's been told by her son to not do stuff like this, but she decided to get a rickety old stool, right, sense what's coming, and she gets up on the stool, tries to reach something on the refrigerator, and clunk, and she broke her ankle, yeah, and decided not to go to the hospital. Okay? So if it's one thing I could tell you, the most important thing that I could tell you is if you have a fall, no matter what, go to the hospital. Or call 911, period. Okay? You could have internal bleeding. You could have a fracture that you don't feel for 5 days. You could have something that becomes severe a week later, and then it's too late. Right? Now, nobody wants to go to the emergency room. I don't blame you. But if you ever have a fall, the most important thing I can tell you is call 911 and go to the hospital. Or at least have them come check you out. Because it could be something serious. Okay? Anyway, she didn't. She was stubborn, and later found out that 2 of her ligaments were broke. And then she had to have foot surgery, and the foot doctor said, "You should have listened to your son." Thank you. And then she had to have a big boot, right? Because then you have to have all this stuff when you have a fall, the boots and casts and things like that. And then she had to have a big boot, so because she didn't listen to her doctor. I also recommend bringing notes and a pen when you talk to your doctor, because how many of you just do this? Sure, when is he going to shut up and I can just leave and go home? And then you get home and you don't know what he said, right? Or you don't, big words or whatever. Or they're just doing this on their computer. But he told her to take the boot off while she got in bed. She thought it was 24/7, so she had a boot on in bed, under covers, tries to get out of bed to go to the bathroom. Her body goes this way, her foot stays this way, down on her right hand, and breaks her right hand. Right? So, my mother-in-law, love her to death, same thing. My father-in-law bought her a nice sturdy ladder, which is going to be one of the things in your handout, is if you're going to get up on something, invest money in a nice sturdy ladder with handles, or just don't do it. And she had one, it was awesome, but she did not want to wait. Patience, we're going to talk about patience. She didn't want to wait for my father-in-law to bring the ladder to her, so she got some old rickety ladder, took a digger, and she maybe about this far from the corner of her counter, would have killed her head, and then she broke her hip. Actually she had a compression fracture in her back, didn't go to the hospital, refused. I forced her when she came to visit us, she had a compression fracture and had to have a kyphoplasty. Right? So again, if she had just decided not to get up on that little ladder, it would have never happened. Okay? So a lot of it is judgment. Use good judgment, be patient, move slower, and then it is also a factor of sometimes you have to accept that there are some things that you should just not be doing, period. And it can change your life forever, okay? I won't tell too many horror stories, but I do want to make my point is that most people are just dumb lucky, right? I have had a patient who tripped and fell because of poor judgment and hit their head on the counter, right? Brain bleed, their life will never be the same, right? So, preventable with good judgment or patience, okay? All right, so let's talk about some staggering numbers, okay? So I'm going to put up here first, 29 million. What do you think that represents?
Falls.
That's how many people fall in the United States alone per year. 29 million, okay? 3 million. Remember how I told you that if you fall, you should go to the ER? That's how many people actually go to the ER and are treated in the ER. Okay? Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Okay. 7 million. That's how many people actually are injured from a fall. It is true, sometimes you fall, you know, the challenge with a fall, if you were to like go sit on your couch and you slip to the floor, they do count that as a fall, you bump your butt, you know, whatever. That really doesn't hurt. But if you have a bad fall, you should go to the ER. So that's what I'm talking about. But this is how many people actually had an injury from the fall, okay? 800,000. That's how many were hospitalized because of a fall. They actually had to be admitted because of their fall, okay? And then this is the saddest part, but that's how many, 27,000 died because of a fall. 95%, I would say not 100%, 95% of those falls were preventable. With patience, good judgment, using an assistive device, or asking for help, okay? So, okay, let's talk about the hips, right? Oh, those hips. So, 300,000 people every year are hospitalized because of hip fractures, right? And 95% are due to a fall. Now, some women mostly have osteoporosis. Sometimes your hip breaks when you're just standing there, and then you fall because of that. This is not that. This is just falling and breaking your hip, okay? 300,000, right? Okay, so those are the numbers. Just wanted to, you know, kind of, I hate being too serious, but it is a very serious thing. And hopefully after you leave here today, you will never again have a fall, okay? All right, so any questions on any of that?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Why, when you go in for a physical or a doctor's checkup and you're on Medicare, they always ask you if you had a fall? Is that required by
Yeah.
Medicare now?
Yeah.
Is it to monitor something like this?
Yes. Yeah.
You mentioned ladders with handles. What handles?
Oh, so I should say step ladder. I'm sorry, not a regular ladder, but and again, if the best thing is to stay off ladders altogether, right? But there are step ladders out there that are very sturdy and they have handles going up.
They have I've never seen this.
Yeah,
You saw them at Home Depot, because we're looking for a lot.
Yeah, Home Depot. And they're probably a little more of an investment. And they're very heavy.
They've got some that are aluminum and they're much lighter.
Yeah, but
Probably not safe.
right, you just gotta. Ladders are a huge issue. Anything step ladder, I wouldn't get up on. And then they have the handle so you can hold on going up, right? So you should check out Home Depot, ask somebody what they have. Yeah, they have those now. I didn't even know they existed. I was like, no ladders ever for anybody. But at my father-in-law's house, he had one. I checked it out. I tested it. It was an ingenious invention. I was mad that I didn't invent it myself. Yeah, so that's what I would recommend. But if it's old and rickety, put it in the dumpster. It's just going to put you in the hospital. Any questions so far? Okay. Okay, so this little packet, this is right off the CDC website. So if you want more, you can go to the CDC, Center for Disease Control. They have a whole section on falls prevention. And these are the 4 things that I thought were the best thing to go over. Okay? And so we'll go through these, and if you have any questions, please just raise your hand, okay? So the first thing is, you gotta talk to your healthcare provider. I know sometimes that is very frustrating, okay? Because I know a lot of times it seems like it's a revolving door. You go to the doctor, you wait for how many hours to see the doctor for 10 minutes, and then you're out the door, okay? So, medications, things you gotta talk about is medications. If you have vertigo, what can they do? And I would force them to listen and then take notes. Because it could be something little that they tell you that you missed when you get home and you go, oh man, what did the doctor say? There's all these things that he told me, but I didn't remember. So, and if you have issues, then talk to your doctor. The other thing is, if you're having balance problems, if you're having strength problems, you can go to a class. I know they have classes here for exercise. But you can also talk to your doctor to get therapy, right? Now, home health therapy is restricted to, you have to be homebound, but there's a lot of outpatient settings where they could really help you improve your balance, improve your strength. If you're having problems and you have stumbles or falls, say, hey doc, can I get some therapy? And he can give you a prescription for physical therapy, okay? That's a good thing to have. Or if you have a fitness center here, you can hire a personal trainer to help you with that. All those kind of things. Which leads into number 2, is exercise to improve your balance and strength. By far, the most important thing you can do for preventing falls, okay? The human body loses 6% of body mass every year, period, right? So I exercise every morning. I plan to do it until the day I die, just because I know, but until I knew, I didn't know, right? So any kind of exercise, and that's why we'll go over some exercises there, okay? Yes, please.
How can you get that back? Some of that 6% every year?
Exercise.
Or slow it?
Exercise.
Yes.
Exercise, 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 exercise is forever. Yes. Okay? So now I'm going to do something silly, make you laugh. Everybody squeeze your tushy. Squeeze your bottom. Now do it 10 times. Just squeeze and release 10 times. Your gluteus maximus, your bottom muscle, I want to say butt, but my wife won't let me say it. Bottom muscle, it is a huge muscle when it comes to balance, right? So it starts here, and it goes here, right? At your bottom, and it is a huge muscle, and it helps you, right? And if you can, that is one of the best exercises you can do, because a lot of us do a lot of sitting, watching TV. Just do 10 or 20 bottom squeezes once in a while, right? The other thing is, do some ankle pumps right now. Heels up, toes up, just like that. While you're sitting, right? Your ankles are the first defense mechanism when you're falling, right? Your ankles. Sometimes they get stiff. And if you just move them, right? We have a saying in the physical therapy world called movement is medicine. So that's just some little things that you can do. So we're going to talk more about exercise. Have your eyes and feet checked. Do your shoes fit? Do you have the right shoes? Can you see? Do you have the right prescription? We're going to talk about lighting in your house. Here's another interesting story with my mother-in-law. Love her. I'm doing this because I'm going to show her the video later. But anyway, they moved into this big, beautiful house, and brand new house. First night they were sleeping in the house. She had to get up and go to the bathroom. So not used to, most of us in our own home, we can get up and boom, I know where the bathroom is exactly, right? But she did not know, and she did not want to turn lights on. And she was on the second floor, and then right outside of her bedroom door is a big, beautiful 18-stair staircase. So she's doing this, looking for because she doesn't want to turn the light on. Isn't that simple? Just because she didn't want to turn the light on, she fell down those stairs. Right? Had to be medevac to be helicopter to, thankfully she got through it fine, but she could have died right there. She got a big old crack in her head. She was mad because blood got on the wall. My paint, my new house. And of course my wife was furious. But again, lighting. Lighting is a huge thing. Light is wonderful. So we're going to talk about that in one of these sections. But eyes. Make sure your eyes, prescription, anything wrong with your eyes, go get your doctor to check. Okay? All right, and make your home safer. Fall prevention checklist, we're going to get to that, is you got to go through your home and actively make good choices to prevent falls in your home, okay? So that brings us to the second page, which is, it gave you a little handy checklist. So number one, right here, stairs, right? So there's a checklist for the stairs. Some of this is common sense, but again, sometimes your house gets cluttered, right? Keep objects off the stairs. It shouldn't be a storage place, you know what I mean? Loose or uneven steps. You gotta fix them. Oh, I would also add to that, I don't know if it's here, but rails. The railing, okay? I don't know that, I know there's always one rail, and it always, physical therapists and assistants, we get mad because there should be 2 rails going up. So if you don't have 2 rails, if you have a second story, and you have difficulty with stairs, and you don't have 2 rails, get another rail installed. I will tell you that it will solve a lot of your problems if you can have both hands on rails. But anything loose or uneven, try to fix it, okay? Has a stairway light burned out? So lights, right? Keep your house lit, turn the light on when you're going up the stairs or down the stairs, okay? Carpet. Ooh, the carpet. Carpet causes so many falls, so if you have loose or torn carpet on your stairs, try to get that fixed, okay? And then it is here, the last one is loose handrails. Make sure you get those fixed. Put in new ones, make sure handrails are on both sides of the stairs and are as long as the stairs. Okay, how many people have stairs here that they use every day? No.
Not inside.
You know, another good invention, it's, you know, pretty expensive, but if you ever had to have it, is a stair lift. Hopefully nobody is at that point, and hopefully you never will be at that point, but it's a great invention if you ever need that. But okay, let's talk about floors. So, just the design of your house could cause falls, right? Especially if you are in the habit of furniture walking. Right? Right? It's not a good thing to do. Human body was meant to walk like this, right? Not like this, okay? Plus, what happens if you are used to walking through your house with your hands, and then you are talking and doing stuff, and you reach out and nothing's there, guess where you're gonna go? Wherever your hand went, okay? So try to avoid that. Throw rugs, ugh! They should all just go in the trash. Throw rugs are horrible. They cause so many falls because they go right up from under you, or you get tripped up. It's amazing how you can get tripped up on this much carpet, right? So you want to remove them, or they have special tape that you can put down, especially on the edge, right? Right on the edge and the corners. You should tape it all down so it doesn't move, okay? Pick up things off the floor. That causes a lot of falls too. Especially if you're that person who's used to going from your bed to the bathroom with your eyes closed, and you know your way, and guess what'll trip you up is that thing that you left on the floor that you don't know that's there. My wife does our laundry, God bless her, and she left a laundry basket on the floor one day. And I'm just a young 48, and I took a digger because I got up and I didn't want to turn a light on. Guess what?
You.
Yeah, me, yes. And what did I learn? Turn the light on. Walking over or around wires, lamp, telephone, those cords, right? The cords will get you. So just try to, you can put duct tape over them, or if you, like me, my wife would never allow that. She'd rather I went to the hospital than have duct tape over the floor. Just try to, you know, again, it's just awareness of what can trip you up wherever you are in your house, okay? Kitchen. Sometimes reaching, when you reach for stuff and then you have to go up on your tippy toes and your ankles are not strong. That's why one of the first exercises we have in that thing is heels and toes when you're standing up, right? So one of the best things to do is just put everything on a lower shelf so you don't have to reach up so high. Especially if you've hurt your shoulder and you have range of motion. A lot of people have range of motion issues when you get older with the shoulder, right? Okay. Step stool sturdy, right? Get one with a bar to hold on to. We went over that. And they do sell those now. So huge, huge issue. Is the light near the bed hard to reach? Again, lighting. So if you're gonna get up at night, go to the bathroom, most of us have to, turn the light on. And if you don't have a light that's easy to reach, because what happens to a lot of people is when they're reaching for the light, they go meet the floor. And the floor always wins. Okay? Night light. Night lights are a really good idea. I know a lot of this happens when you're at somebody else's house and you don't know their house. So I know that when my parents or somebody comes over to visit me, we always put a night light in the hallway. Because I have a very dark hallway, going from the guest room to the bathroom. When they open that door, boom, they can see their way. Okay, so a night light's gonna be a really good thing to have. Bathrooms. Bathrooms, I could do a whole presentation on bathrooms, but basically, you know, everyone likes the pretty throw rugs and stuff in the bathrooms. Make sure that you have anti-slip material in there. And then also, in your bathtub, inside, I'm sure it's a non-slip rubber mat, self-stick strips on the floor of the tub or shower. Well, anybody ever fallen in the bathroom or in the shower? Good, okay. I've had several patients that have, and it's only because they didn't have the slip water gone. Grab bars. One of the best inventions on the planet is a grab bar. So, and there's some really, really beautiful ones now. Really brass and all, you know what I mean? So, like, some people have trouble getting up from the toilet. Some people have trouble getting up from the shower chair or getting in and out of the shower. And you can put bars, and they look really nice, and that itself could prevent a fall. When you give yourself the option to have a handle. Yes, ma'am.
I have a shower at home that's that molded insert
Yep.
type shower. And I had asked my children for some grab bars
Mhm.
to install. And they got the kind that you screw on, but the shower is molded away from the drywall.
Oh.
And so I cannot use those grab bars. What type of thing can I use instead of that? Because the ones, suction cup ones, I'm
Horrible.
afraid they're not strong enough.
Yeah, no. You know, if that were my, so your insert, you have an insert shower, right?
Yeah.
There's gotta be studs behind it. And what you might need to do is get a handyman to get longer screws so he can reach the studs,
Okay.
okay? Because I agree, is this, the ones that stick, the suction ones, are not a good invention.
Yeah.
Because it just depends, some of them work really, really great, but you can't trust them. And if you try to get up with those and they come off, then you're going down, yeah. So I would just, that's what, if it was my bathroom, I would get a handyman and find the stud, and then get just a longer screw, you know what I mean? And then it'll be able to reach it, and then it'll hold it tight, okay? Any other questions on that?
I
Okay,
got some
awesome.
armrests for my toilet. Go on with that. Armrests.
You know, next to the toilet actually would be great too. And the other thing is, if you,
Yes,
I don't know why they always,
it just gives you the.
toilets are designed for short people. They are, and sometimes for taller people it's harder, but some people have a hard time getting up off the toilet, which is a bummer. And if you put a bar in, that can help you as well. But you could also get the 3-in-1 commode that goes right over and you have two hands. It turns the toilet into sometimes if you have your arms to help you stand up, it's a piece of cake. So if you didn't want something permanent next to your toilet, you could have that commode. It's just a bedside commode. You take the bucket out and it slides right over your toilet. And those are relatively cheap. So that's another option for the bathroom.
These armrests.
What's
Okay.
that called? What's that called?
It's called a 3-in-1 commode, or you could just go commode, you know. And we're going to talk about some of this stuff and where you can get this stuff, right? And how much it costs, right? These 3 items cost me $100 together on Amazon. If you shop on Amazon. If you went to there's a lot of really wonderful medical supply stores. We'll talk about those. They tend to be a little bit more expensive, but well worth the investment for getting one of these. And then this crazy little tool that we'll talk about, this was like $25 at Walmart.
When you were talking about, I had an illness a couple of years ago, so my brother went up, it was either Walmart or CVS, he got me the armrests for the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
That just, you lift the seat and you
Yeah.
attach it to the toilet.
Yeah.
I've left them there, they're wonderful.
Oh, yeah, they have that too, yeah, yeah, yes.
We have our toilet's lifted. We got a platform to go on it, so it's a little
Yeah.
bit higher.
Yep.
And that's a lot easier
Mhm.
to get up from.
Yep.
And
They
they're
have,
short.
yes, they have several different options now. So it just depends on your body makeup and how wide you need something, how, you know what I mean? I had a gentleman who's 6'5" and said he was shaped like a pear, and the one he had, he couldn't fit. So I had found him one on Amazon that was a little wider, and now he could get up from the toilet, whereas before he would get stuck there. Yeah. So those are some ways to prevent falls or to fall-proof your home. Okay, you go through your home, just go through this checklist. Okay. All right, any questions on the checklist? Just remember, light is good. Okay. One of my favorite things is we can all score ourselves on, this is a risk for falling sheet. So if you wanted to go through, actually I'm just going to have you raise your hand, okay? How many people have fallen in the last year? Okay. I use or have been advised to use a cane or walker to get around safely.
I have one sometimes.
Sometimes I feel unsteady when I am walking. I steady myself by holding on to furniture when walking at home. Who furniture walks here? Anyone? Just one, okay. I'm worried about falling. Everybody should raise their hand about that. Okay. I need to push with my hands to stand up from a chair. I have some trouble stepping up onto a curb. Curbs, they'll bite you. I often have to rush to the toilet. I have lost some feeling in my feet. Neuropathy is a tough deal. I take medicine that sometimes make me feel lightheaded or more tired than usual. Okay. I often feel sad or depressed. So all of these, if you scored higher than a 4, right, then you may be at risk of falling. So the truth is every single person is at risk of falling. All right, any questions on that sheet? Does anyone have blood pressure issues? Okay. Does anyone have blood pressure that might drop when you change position? No? Okay. A lot of people have what we call, that's why I included this as postural hypertension. It is, sometimes people have that, they don't know they have it. So if you go from lying down and you sit up on the edge of your bed and you feel a little, ooh, okay, that probably means your blood pressure is dropping. If you have to sit there for a minute, kind of get your bearings, okay? And then when you are sitting and you stand up and you feel it up here, right, it could be a blood pressure issue, okay? So one of the simplest things that you could do just to keep an eye on things, right, it's called preventative maintenance. It's just like every 6,000 miles we go change oil in our car. You could get a blood pressure cuff pretty cheaply. I recommend the one that goes around your arm, not the wrist. And take your blood pressure 3 or 4 times a day and write it down. Okay? Because blood pressure is a huge issue, especially if you're on, anybody here on blood pressure medicine? Okay. You should have a notebook and you should be taking your blood pressure and writing it down 3 to 4 times a day, every day. Because blood pressure medicine changes. You adapt to it, you might need to tweak it. And when you go to the doctor, a lot of people get what we call white coat syndrome, where your blood pressure shoots through the roof. And so your doctor's trying to make a decision on that one reading. But he doesn't know what it does in the morning, before you take your blood pressure meds, after you take your blood pressure meds, when you first wake up, in the evening. So I tell all my patients, if you are on blood pressure meds, you should have a blood pressure cuff and a blood pressure journal, taking it every single day so that when you go see your doctor, you can go here. Tell me if my meds are working or if you need to adjust them. Okay? A lot of times what happens is, if you change your lifestyle and your blood pressure starts to get better, but you're still taking blood pressure meds, and then your blood pressure starts, if you have like a normal blood pressure, then your blood pressure meds are gonna make it go too low. So that's one thing I can tell you about that. Okay, these are just some, all the stuff, this is just some good reading for what might happen with your blood pressure. Kind of all the stuff I went over. Again, vertigo is a separate thing. Who said they had vertigo here? Did they tell you why you have vertigo? Did they figure it out?
Yeah, and it was 5 years ago, and I'm fine now.
Awesome, okay. Yeah. Who else?
I went to a person that helps you, and I got rid of it that way.
Okay.
It was something about the crystals.
BPPV probably, yeah. It's called, it's a big word, but it's about, you have crystals in your ear, and if these little canals in your ear with crystals, and if they come out of their chosen spot, and they start clanking around in there, that's what causes you to have vertigo. And they can do a certain thing where they lay you down and turn your head and all this stuff, and pop it back into place, and it's gone.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, and people of all ages get that. My wife got that, and I did that maneuver on her, and I fixed it. So, and what about you? You sir?
That was about 5 years ago, and I take blood pressure medicine. Sometimes my blood pressure is so low, I worry about it, like
Yeah.
106.
Yeah.
But the doctor says, oh, only worry about the high.
Well, sometimes you got to be your own doctor as well. I would say that. I'm not a doctor, and I don't profess to be. What I do know is that I know a lot about the human body adapts quickly, or sometimes not so quickly, to medicine. It's no different than if you get a knee replacement or hurt shoulder, and they put you on painkillers, and then after a while they don't work as good anymore. Your body adapts to it. So that's why your body adapts to blood pressure, or your body might fix itself, or you might be go for more walks, or eating better, or drinking more water. One of the biggest causes of high blood pressure and low pressure is dehydration, right? And a lot of people don't drink enough water. So another little tidbit of advice I can give you is you should be drinking half of your body weight in ounces of fluid, right? But that includes like fruit. Water-filled foods also count as water. Coffee, tea, soda, which you shouldn't drink anyway, but if you do, fluid. If you don't have enough fluid, then your body can't do what it's supposed to do, especially if you're taking a handful of pills. Once or twice or 3 times a day, so a little tidbit for you. I think that's a lot of stuff up there, okay. Okay, so there's that. Any questions on that? Okay, so let's go over these exercises. I'm not gonna have you do these exercises, but I want to show you some of the simplest exercises you can do, the ones that help your balance the most, okay, when in the standing position, okay? Here's what I recommend. If you ever wanted to try, I hope that you try these, but how do you try these and be safe, right? So how do you try these and be safe? For this first one, you put a chair in front of your kitchen sink. And you hold on to your kitchen sink, and you sit down and stand up, right? So it's a chair to stand. This is one of the 20 million people in nursing homes right now. 20 million. And they'll never get out. Most of them don't want to be there. And the biggest reason why they're in nursing homes is because they cannot do this. Stand up from a wheelchair. Okay? So this is called a chair to stand. You should get to a point where you could do 10 of these right in a row without using your hands. Okay? And this is something you should practice every single day. But if you don't feel comfortable doing this like this, then you hold on to a kitchen sink and you put the chair right here and have somebody stand next to you and you just try to stand up. Okay? And on the other sheet there's a half. I'll show you that. It's called a mini squat. You can just start like this. Okay? So the chair to stand, this tells you exactly how to do it. But basically, when you're able to do this, sit down and stand back up. If you get to a point where you can do that, then you're going to prevent a lot of falls. Because that strengthens all of the balance muscles that you need to prevent falls. Okay?
If you find that you need to spread your legs more to stand, is that okay?
Beautiful. Did you get that out there? Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Because I know in church, standing and standing up, but.
No, that's, a lot of times just water-based support,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. Okay, so there's 5 exercises here. It has a picture of the first one is a counter, the second and third are chairs. I would prefer you did this either, and that's why I wrote on the second page of this. Perform all exercises at the counter or kitchen sink. I like the sink. I like the sink because you can hold on to it. Okay? So these are exercises that work the 3 joint levels, right? So you have the ankles. If you did nothing else in standing, the heel and toe raise is one of the best exercises you could do every day.
Now, what did you call that? You said they were the 3 points of what?
3 points. You have your ankle joint, your knee joint, and your hip joint.
Are they the 3 points of balance?
Yes.
Or of
Yep.
balance?
Yep. Because when you lose your balance, what they really want you to do is use those muscles, right? So if I'm walking this way and I lose my balance, I want to step, right? And if my muscles are strong enough and I've worked them enough, and it's like retraining your brain to use your muscles, right? If you don't exercise, your muscles don't know what to do when you have an issue. They're not strong enough or they haven't been used enough. But if you work your muscles, your joints, they're going to work, you're going to have a natural reaction to prevent yourself from falling instead of this, right? If you lose your balance and you reach out, you will fall wherever your arm goes. And hopefully, God willing, there's something there, but if there's not something there, you're gone, right? So the heel toe raise is number 1. Just raise your heels and raise your toes, just like that, at the counter, okay? So then you have muscles in the front of your hip. We're talking about hip, and you have muscles in the back of your hip. And they all handle your balance, right? So the back ones, we do this. We go back like this. It's a very simple movement. You're working that glute muscle right there, okay? And then the side, you have muscles on the side. I do this, right? So there's this one. Okay? That's the straight leg sideways. It works the muscles on the side. And then if you turn the page, there's that half sit. We call it a mini squat. If you don't feel good enough to do the full one, you start with a half one while holding onto a chair or preferably a counter or a kitchen sink. And as you get stronger, then what you can do is put a chair behind you and go all the way down. Right? But if you only feel good doing this, then that's what you do. Anybody have knee issues here? Yeah. One of the best things to do to overcome knee issues is do squats. Okay, mini squats or chair to stand. The knee's a tough cookie. The challenge with exercise is that exercise will cause a little bit more discomfort at first, but if you're consistent with it, then it has actually been clinically proven to reduce pain. A lot of pain is caused by tight muscles that haven't been worked. Right? So if you work them, yes sir?
I have an elliptical, which is great for the knees,
Oh yeah?
much better than a treadmill.
Yeah. Elliptical is a wonderful machine. The only issue we have is as long as you're safe and getting on and off of it, right? It's a tricky thing.
It
But
can be a problem.
yeah, it's a tricky thing.
You got handles when you're working.
Yeah,
but-
you just got to, again, patience and good judgment is what you want to use when you're doing stuff like that, yeah. But again, I will always say elliptical is great, but taking a walk outside, weather permitting, in the beautiful air, sunshine, nothing is as good as that. Taking a nice walk every day, okay? And then there's the knee raise. That's the hip flexor right here, okay? A lot of times when people trip, it's because they are not lifting their knee enough, right? You try to slide your foot over the floor and it gets caught, right? How many people find themselves shuffling when they're walking? Okay? Your hip flexor's not working. It's not getting your knee up high enough when you're walking. If you watch yourself in slow motion, you're not lifting the knee up high enough to clear the foot. So that's why we have that knee raise, okay? So these 5 simple exercises, if you did these every day, 5 days a week, your balance is going to get better in a matter of a week or 2, okay? Exercise, by the way, is forever, okay? Exercise is not something, it's just like physical therapy. The biggest mistake people make with physical therapy is they do their therapy, and then they're done with therapy, and they're like, okay, I don't have to do anything anymore. And then a few months down the road, why the heck am I back in therapy? Because you didn't keep doing your exercises, right? Exercises are forever. You should be doing something every day. every single day, okay? All right, so there's those exercises. Any questions on those?
Yeah, can I break in?
Please, yes.
For low-link folks who are here, I want to introduce Donna Jackson.
Yes.
She didn't know I was going to do this. Donna's contribution to low-link is that she provides chair exercise classes twice a week, free of charge, right here in this room here. And the exercises that Derek has been talking about are the ones that Donna focuses on. And Donna does it in a chair, so if anybody who has challenges standing up, we can perform the same types of exercises in a chair. And Donna, she focuses on the strength exercises for the 3 points that you were talking about in balance. So there's room for 20 people in this class, and you can drop in. It's Mondays and Thursdays from noon to 12:45. Please come and take advantage of it.
Yes.
And thank you, Donna.
Okay, so I think I'm going over my time here. I just want to finish up really quickly. A couple of things. This is called a peddler, okay? You can get it on Amazon for probably 20 bucks. You get it at Walmart for probably 30 bucks, wherever. This is one of the best exercises you can do where there's no impact on your joints, right? You can put it in front of you and watch your show whenever you're doing it. It's really simple. It's basically it gives you access to an exercise bike without having to pay for an exercise bike. And you just put it down and it's just a pedal. And I'm getting ankle, knee, and hip joint movement. No impact. And you just do it. It is awesome. Really awesome. My mom was stuck on a walker at one time because of some injuries, and she didn't want to do exercise and told me that I don't want to do anything. And I said, well, would you do one thing? She said yes. And after 2 weeks of doing this every day, she went from a walker to a cane. So this is a really good tool, right? That's the first thing I would tell you, okay? The second thing is sometimes you just need a device, something to help you, right? Sometimes something as simple as a cane as you want. Anybody else use a cane here? Yeah?
Occasionally, when I'm out and rough around.
Yep. Some people don't need it in the house, and some people just need it when they're out and about.
Yeah.
Cane is a wonderful tool.
Yeah, I don't normally use a cane, but I found that, I guess it was from blood pressure or something, when I get up out of bed and have to go to the bathroom at night. Even if I sit for a little bit, that cane is beside my bed and it helps when I first get up.
Yep.
It's very good.
Could prevent a fall, right? So and that, I think this was 20 bucks on Amazon. And then we have the walker. Okay, I'm hoping that none of you will, I don't see any in the room, hopefully you'll never have to use this, but again, you probably all have many, many friends, and this is something that could prevent a fall, just using it. A lot of people just use this when getting up at night, going to the bathroom, right? But if you need it, it could be just a temporary thing to prevent you from falling. It's just using a simple walker, okay? So I think that was maybe $30 on Amazon. Or you could go to a store and get one. Someone said they went to Walmart, they have all kinds of cool stuff. And then this is one of my favorite inventions, period. Okay, is a rollator, right? Rollator with a seat and brakes so that you can sit down. Okay, because let's say you want to go out for a walk. Beautiful day, you want to go out for a walk, but you don't trust yourself. What if I get a half mile down the road and I can't get back? That solves your problem right there. Take the road, just walk with a rollator. And then if you get tired, you can put the brakes on and have a seat.
There's another use for that.
Oh, carrying your coffee in the house? Right there?
I had foot surgery and I couldn't put any weight on my foot. I put my knee on the seat and I used that to get around the house.
Oh, okay.
It rolled very nicely and I had the brakes. It was perfect.
Rather than the special one that's made for that.
They sell one that's made especially for that too, yeah?
She has that one too.
Oh, good.
Outside.
Yes, okay. Okay, so and there's many, many more. I mean, we could do 8 more presentations on this, but I hope you got the gist is good judgment, good lighting, be patient, exercise, 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 ask for help. When there's something that you know that you shouldn't be doing, don't do it. Don't do it, ask, just ask for help. And go through your house and make sure that it's fall-proof. And last but not least, if you think you need some extra help, find a trainer, a wonderful class that's here twice a week, or ask your doctor to give you a little prescription for physical therapy. Okay? All right, that's it for me. Any questions?
May I add something?
Yes.
Our local Lions, you can check out
Awesome.
mobility devices for as long as you need them.
Cool. There's also a little place in Fredericksburg on Princess Anne Street called Equipment Connection. And if they have it, they will give it to you for free. Yeah. So it's really designed for people that have trouble affording or whatever, but anybody, if you go in there and you just tell them, hey, I need a rollator, do you have one? He'll be like, yeah, I got one. He'll clean it up and give it to you. I've gone in there 5 or 6 times to get adaptive equipment for my patients. But you said the Lions Club.
And they
Is
will
that-
take donations too.
Yeah.
On the Lions here, Saturday morning, you go over there and you can get any.
Wow,
equipment you
okay,
want.
Lions
They-
Club.
they
Is that
have-
here in Lake of the Woods?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Right.
That's easier than going to
It's
Fredericksburg.
right, it's right next to the compactor.
Okay.
No, that's where it is.
Any more questions? Well, I appreciate,
Well, on your chair seat exercise,
yeah,
what I've done, rather than use a chair, I use a sofa or a lodge.
yep,
Because in a prior life, when I was young, and I was doing some of that, I fell backwards.
yeah,
And you can hurt yourself.
yes,
pretty badly.
yes, that's why
You're right up against the sofa, that's not gonna move.
you have it's an excellent point, and I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, it's about, if you don't want to sit down too hard because you can give yourself compression fractures if you sit. That's it's a great, great point, is when you sit down slowly, don't plop, no plopping. And then a couch is good, or if you want to use a chair, a cushion. Excellent point, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. Because yeah, if you did like 10 of them and you go down and you're weak on that 11th one, you don't want to hurt your butt. Bottom, I'm sorry, hurt your bottom. My wife's going to be watching this video later.
Yeah.
Right, that's it.
My daughter has back grandchildren, I'm not allowed to say about it either.
It's in the dictionary. Okay. That's a good point. Thank you so much for that. Anybody else? Okay.
Excellent. Well, we